We back.
Man,
I'm so blown out by my blinds are totally closed right there. And it's like
got some thin ass blinds, fool.
I know. I got to get some like blackout curtains probably.
Bro, I just realized your setup is an L now.
That's crazy. Is it what?
Is an L.
My setup? Oh, like
I'm just kidding. Like you don't have the neon lights and the bed and everything. It's different.
Yeah, no, my bed's actually coming today. I thought you were talking about the L desk. You're like, oh yeah, it's a big L on your part. Congrats. It's like it's an L desk, yeah.
L desk.
No, yeah, the bed's gonna be right there. So my room looks crazy right now, but it'll look better. Post haste. No, it's swag. You got to tell the people what happened. Did we fill them in? Red, this is our first episode back. Did we talk?
Yeah, we got to do a full recap of what's, because people are like we're not like not posting episodes because we want to. It's just we've literally been kind of dealing with a big move, and then on top of that, there were some technical errors and miscommunications. It's all just logistical stuff. It's not because we didn't want to make an episode. We also shot 2 in-person episodes. So you saw the first one that came out, which I thought came out hilarious.
It was awesome.
I knew that one was going to be great. I think the second one's good too, if I remember.
It is.
And I think they're both funny.
It's cool because we'll be able to space them out now because there was a technical difficulty with that one, and I probably won't be able to get the files for it for a while. But we'll be able to drop it in like September, and that'll be another in-person episode sort of spaced out. So
yeah, like the real episode 186 was an in-person episode, but we'll drop that later and it'll be a nice treat. I think it's almost kind of like accidentally kind of nice that we'll get an in-person episode dropped randomly in the middle of September. So you guys have that to look forward to. I mean, all the things we're talking about will be out of date, but so basically what happened is, earlier this summer, I was just like dealing with some shit, stressed out, didn't feel like being in this city, didn't feel like dealing with people in New York. And I was just like dealing with just a lot of shit. And I was like, you know what? I need to see Tony and Max. Like, I need to see them ASAP. And so I hit him up. And I was basically about to fly Tony to St. Louis on my own dime.
To New York.
To St. Louis.
Oh, no, to St. Louis. You're right. Yeah.
From Houston. I was about ready to just pay for his flight. For those of you who don't know, I got laid off March 1st. The same week I got laid off, an inheritance from my grandfather's brother who passed away during COVID finally became available to me. An inheritance the size of about 1 year's salary. I'm already about halfway through it, speaking of which. But I was going to use that to fly Tony out to St. Louis so that we could just spend a week or a weekend together, record some welcome bokes and things like that. Serendipitously, one of the most serendipitous turns of events. I mean, mountains got moved for this. It's really wild. Tony tells me, I just had like my second interview for a new job that's going to be in St. Louis, and I might get this job before that trip. Next day, he got the job. And so it was like, dude, my first day is the day after you're flying back. So, and I'm coming into town the same day you are. So it was like this thing where Tony moved his ass back to St. Louis literally the same day I visited St. Louis. And I got to stay with Diane. It was fucking awesome. Diane, shout out to Diane. She literally lets me stay at her home.
And Bandit.
Well, Bruiser.
Or Bruiser. Sorry, mixing them up. Bruiser.
Bandit, R.I.P.
R.I.P. Bandit, jeez.
Diane's the best. We've recorded episodes at Diane's. You guys have heard them. That's where Max lives, so you've seen the basement. But we've recorded video episodes in her basement in the wood paneling. You guys recognize that if you're a long time fans. Yeah, a couple, I think.
Yeah.
But at least one. I think there was one with me and Max where we tried to watch 8 Crazy Nights and fell asleep. And then I think there was another one where it was the 3 of us. And there may have been a third one. I don't remember. But so we just basically had a blast. We hung out that whole week. I did fun shit with my parents. I went to Top Golf. I saw a soccer game with my parents. Like I got to spend a bunch of time with my parents. Just me and the 2 of them. And then Max, Tony, and I, we hung out like every day because Tony didn't have anything to do. And that was awesome. We saw some good movies. We
some bad ones.
Both bad ones, actually.
Yeah.
And then just a lot of weed smoking and hanging out, and it was great. And I got to like meet Max's girlfriend. Like it was very cool. So yeah, so like after that happened, because Tony was moving and because the episodes were like in physical files, not physical files, but they were out of a GoPro and all that, and they had to get that transferred to Tony. It took a while, so we kind of whiffed on a month of recording. But you'll notice at the top of this video, or rather at the bottom, right down there, it says episode 186. So we've been very, very consistent over time. So 1 month where we whiff it in 3 years, that's not bad. You know, and we're back on track now. And see, the key, if you want to do a long-term project like this, do it for fun, not any other reason. Just do it for the sake of it. Do it for fun. Do it because you enjoy it, and you will do something way longer. This thing where like people are like, you have to fucking suffer and hate what you're doing. It's not true. Yeah, there's something to be said for self-discipline, but also like self-discipline is way easier if it's something that you already feel a motivation and interest and excitement and passion for doing. So there you go.
It's also a matter of like, and it sounds like a super basic, like, you know, liberal mindset or anti-capitalist mindset. But if you go into it with the capitalist mindset of like, I need to turn this whatever video production I'm making into a product that people will give me money for, or that a service will give me money for, so that I can run ads on it or whatever. I mean, that's not necessarily inherently bad, but if you start valuing that project based on those things, then it just feels more empty to me, and it feels less genuine and authentic, because everything you're doing is being influenced by how much money it'll make you.
You worship the dollar.
You worship,
you worship the dollar. It's also like the intangibles that I didn't appreciate until now, but like this basically was media training for you and Max and myself for the last like couple of years. It's basically you guys are now able to hold a conversation in front of a camera on mic.
Yeah,
you have developed that skill fully. You especially.
Thank you.
Like you could do that. I've seen your social confidence go up, not in like you were always a socially like funny, like whatever outgoing person. But I mean like you're more poised to carry a conversation and
yes.
You always were, but it was like you know what it's like to have to fill in an hour of conversation.
It's totally night and day from like episode 1 to now. Like, and that's something you got to remember too. When you start, like, you're probably going to suck at it. It's going to be awkward. It's going to be like slow or weird or mistakes and stuff. But after 187 goes about it, there's no way you won't be better at it. And maybe you won't be good at it. I mean, that would be unfortunate, but you know, give it a try.
Yeah.
Give it a shot.
And it's something I've realized, like, just because we haven't turned an ROI on this doesn't mean we won't ultimately. Because, like, think about it. What if I run into some crazy amount of success and I'm able to, like, actually get funding for a reboot of Woke and Boke where we start over from the beginning with great cameras, great set, everything, and it's still you guys. And maybe it's not even called Woke and Boke. Maybe it's a new show. And it's just like, boom.
2.0.
It's like you guys have been doing this for years. You're already ready. But then it's like, what's perfect about you guys as hosts is we're actually friends. So there's like there's a sort of naturalism to it. There's like a grittiness to it because you guys aren't actors or performers or comedians. There's a there's a gritty to it, bro. Gritty.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, bro. Hold up, bae, yeah. Oh man, dude, it's so funny because on Valorant, the diffuse animation is like it like puts your hands up like this. So people when you get the defuse, they'll just spam the defuse button and move their character so it looks like they're grittying. So like, yo, gritty on the bomb, gritty on the bomb. Dude, it's so funny. I've been fucking obsessed with Valorant, bro. It's actually nuts.
Yeah, what's up with that? You said you're into pro Valorant now and that there's games every day?
You know how like you're into Formula One? Mm-hmm. Like that's how I'm getting into this.
Damn. Like, okay, like as in watching professional
watching
or playing
live.
Okay. Nice.
But it's also cool because it's like you play the thing they're playing.
Right.
It's the same shit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I started actually when I got back from that trip to St. Louis, I was like, all right, let me start streaming again. And I queued up like Final Fantasy 16 and there was just like these audio problems with it. And I was just like, I'm not playing consoles on stream anymore. Fuck this. I was just so annoyed. I'm like, this Elgato, you got to hook up 18 different. Fuck this. I'm playing a PC game. Fuck this. I also bought Modern Warfare 2 for the PC, which I have not even downloaded, but I should try. I should try Warzone on that. But
shit, it's fun.
But like, yeah, all that, right? So I was like, fuck this. I'm going back to my roots, man. I'm just going to play Valorant. Like the game I streamed, I got into the first when I got my PC back in 2021. And yeah, just instantly got back into it. Because I had played it a lot before, so I knew like how to play the game. But now I'm like getting even more into it. When I stream, I have like four other people playing with me. I have a whole 5-stack the entire time I'm streaming because there's always people down to play. Everyone plays it. And oddly, everyone's good at it. Like everyone's been playing it for years. They're way better. Or they've been playing CSGO for years, so that makes them way better. Like a lot of the people in my stream and in my Discord community have hundreds of hours, if not thousands, logged to like CSGO. Jeez. So yeah, and it's just like, it's the hardest shooter. It's the hardest shooter to be good at. Absolutely. Like TAC FPS, way harder than anything else.
It's similar to like Apex, right? In terms of movement, like very cracked movement.
It's actually quite the opposite. All over the place. No. Oh. So Valorant is very slow.
Oh, okay.
Every angle you peek, everywhere you go on the map, like it matters. Every angle you peek matters. You got to work as a team. You should watch some of the streams or go watch some Valorant footage. Because it's basically search and destroy. That's all it is. It's a 5v5 attack, defend, diffuse game type. But everyone has power. Yeah, but everyone has powers like Overwatch. So instead of throwing a flash grenade or a smoke, characters will just have powers that let them bring smokes down from the sky. Or there's like a ghost guy that can like go make a smoke. Or there's a guy named Phoenix who can just throw a flash around a corner instead of you actually tossing a flash grenade. So it's all these different things. But the coolest thing about it is that like the skill ceiling is so high because it's a matter of just small flicks. Like a big part of Valorant is just crosshair placement. You keep your crosshair at where they're going to be at all times, like at the head level, so that if you peek an angle, you literally just have to strafe and click, and that's it. Just like the best players, that's how they aim. They just have good crosshair placement. They don't actually have to aim. I mean, you do have to aim, you have to flick and adjust, but like if you're doing it right and you know where people are going to be peeking from, you know the angles that people are going to be standing at, you can just have your mouse prepared and then just strafe out, see if they're there, and then strafe out again, tap them, and go back in. It's crazy.
That took me way too long to realize it, but I mean, it's kind of big in Call of Duty too. Just like not aiming just to wherever, but at least close to where someone's likely to pop out. If it's a door or the top of a building, like I when I'm dead and watching some of my friends, they're just kind of running and looking wherever and stuff, and then they start getting shot and they'll turn and get a few shots off, but it's like you had to, set milliseconds. You had
to look down from the skies or up from the ground to,
right. Exactly.
Yeah, Call of Duty, like it's like there's something very sterile about CS:GO and Valorant. There's no like, there is chaos to it, but there also isn't. It's kind of like Halo where there's no sprinting. You can just pull your knife out to run faster, but then you don't have a gun out. So it's like, I mean, it's CS:GO. If you ever played Counter-Strike,
it's new age CS:GO.
Yeah. But CS is getting a sequel. They're making CS2. So a lot of us are probably going to hop on that when it does come out. But yeah. And then I was watching, I mean, just Pro Valorant also right now, like they have this, their flagship tournament. The circuit is called VCT Valorant Champions Tour. That's where they have like major tournaments like Masters and all this stuff. But the biggest tournament in the circuit is, or in the whatever, is Champions, which is happening right now. And it's like a big deal. They have like a specific skin in the store just for it, and it's like hella rare, and like it's, this one's broadcasting from Los Angeles. Last year it was in Istanbul. It's like a fucking 20-day tournament. It's a big deal. Like right now they're in group stages. Every team had to like win a qualifying tournament just to show up. Like, it's very intense. And yesterday there was a team called Giants, which is like that's like a team that you would expect to get into towards the end of the tournament, against a Chinese team literally called Edward Gaming. Edward Gaming. The dude's name is Ed. The owner of the company is Ed, and so it's called Edward Gaming, EDG.
And is he not Chinese?
I think he is Chinese. I think his first name is just Ed, though. It's like Ed Jung or something like that. Apologies if I'm getting that wrong. But the first game, Giants start clapping them up. So Valorant games, it's 3 different maps. It's a full game on 3 different, best of 3. So you have to win 2 to win. So the first map, like Edward Gaming's just getting crushed. And then towards the end of it, they start catching up. And then they almost win, but then Giants beat them. Next map, once again, Edward Gaming runs away with it, wins the second map, like crushes them on the second map. Third map, it's like super close the whole time, and then they win. It was fucking crazy. Edward Gaming.
Edward won? Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. And the last one. Crazy.
And then it's like, and then last night, there's this team called Fnatic, and all 5 of their players are like
Walshy, Ogre 2.
It's the final boss of Valorant for sure. Because Fnatic is like a Dota 2 team, COD. They're a huge organization. They've been around forever. They're European, EMEA based. Yeah, their players are like one Swedish, Turkish, Russian, British, and something else. And it's just so funny because, yeah, they're all insanely good. Like the first map, they won 13-2 rounds. They only gave them 2 rounds. The second game, it was like closer, but they still blew them out of the fucking water. And it was just like, it was literally like, you're watching a team that's so good. There's no moment where they even seem weak at all. Like it was crazy. And what was funny the whole match is they're crushing, right? Like 13-2. The coach is just after every round is like, oh my God, because he sees all the mistakes they've made, even though they're winning. So he's like, bro, what is going on? What you doing? Like, he's just, because they have high standards. They cut to the coaches like reacting to the plays and stuff. The Giants coach was fucking just like, how is this team beating us? And then afterwards, the Edward Gaming team captain in Chinese they asked him what he thought about the other team, and the translator was like, they can try any strategy that they want, but at the end of the day, we know that they are just garbage. Like he talked mad shit. It was awesome. It was funny. Awesome. So I'm like addicted to that. And then we go in Discord and I have like 7, 8 other people watching it with me and we're all reacting to it in real time. So it's a blast, bro.
Yeah, that's very chill. I should hop into one of those and watch. It sounds fun.
And then the last thing, like the cool thing about Valorant is like there's aim labs. So you can actually practice your aim like with specific exercises for Valorant with your same sensitivity and everything. And it just makes you aim way better. And it gives you good practice, so it's
goddamn if I don't need that.
Yeah, you need your aim to be better.
I mean, a little bit. I feel like
you still play on controller, right?
Yeah, still controller, but I have a better setup now that could work for mouse and keys. Maybe like my screen, my monitor is so big that I really sit like back here when I'm gaming. I'm like probably 4 feet away from it at least. Just because I don't want to be like enveloped in it, you know.
Dude, you're good at video games. If you just stuck to mouse and keyboard for like a month, you'd be at my level already. That may not be true, but I think you could. I think you could be just as good as you are now on mouse and keyboard, if not better. It's way more freedom,
right? Yeah, and you're using your entire arm instead of little guy right here, your thumb. Yeah. It's honestly, it's not the mouse part, it's the keys part where I'm just like feel like my freaking fingers are gonna, you know, convulse because I don't know what buttons I'm
you've
clicking.
Typed. You know how to type, right?
Of course.
How many words per minute do you type? Like 50, 60, like good speed, right? Like you type fast, right?
I'd say like 50. Yeah, that's probably a good guess. Though
the keyboard aspect is not going to be a problem for you. You'll pick that up. You're just going to suck it first. You're going to be like, oh, what, shift, crouch, grenade. But like eventually it'll just be second nature to you.
Luckily, so with my left hand, I do hit all the right keys you're supposed to with each finger. But my right hand, I like use my pointer and middle.
Way.
Yeah,
really?
I don't know why. I'm just like really fast like that, but I just pick it up and like I don't know. My my right pinky and right ring finger, they're just.
It's crazy how many people learn typing wrong. Like
right.
Like I think Maxwell types that way. Like I think Maxwell types with 2 fingers, but he's just so fast, and he's a writer. My friend Maxwell.
Really? I mean, I feel like if you got 4 digits going,
it's like crazy.
No, I can go pretty fast, to be honest, when I'm typing certain stuff out. But that's because in grade school we had to use those like orange plastic covers or whatever you put on your keys, and you can't see what they are. Yeah. So
yeah. Anyways, that was my Valorant spiel, but
very tight.
I'm into it. I'm also just not a high rank at all. I'm like bronze, literally terrible.
What's the lowest rank?
Iron, which is right below me. It goes iron 1, 2, 3, bronze 1, 2, 3, silver 1, 2, 3, gold 1, 2, 3, diamond 1, 2, 3, platinum 1. Or no,
platinum then diamond.
I think it's platinum then diamond then
obsidian.
No, then it's ascendant, then immortal, then radiant. And radiant players are just like if you're a radiant player, you're actually like top 1,000 players in the world.
Jeez.
And then if you're immortal, you're like top 10,000 or 7,000 or something like that.
Wow.
Which is absurd.
I didn't know it was so big. But honestly,
it's huge.
We underestimate, or like I feel like it's easy to not realize how many people there are in the world versus, you know, because it was something that someone was talking about. I can't remember what artist it was, like a musical artist, but they were talking about how, okay, maybe they have, 10 million fans. That's, like 0.01% of just the US,
Bro, their monthly players just keeps going up. The last 30 days, average monthly players 25.4 million.
Holy fuck.
Current online players right now in the last hour 500,000.
Jesus.
There are approximately 700,000 people that play Valorant daily, approximately 300 to 500,000 concurrent players. That's insane. That's like impressive. Beyond Halo 3 at its peak.
Really?
I want to peak player.
I don't know.
Oh, wow. How many people played Halo 3 at its peak? The 2007 version of the Halo 3 population map is brightly lit with over 1 million people online playing Halo 3's multiplayer at the same time.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's what I'm talking about.
1 million.
That's crazy.
Bro, I just found a screenshot. Bro, that used to be the coolest shit, the little population map.
Oh, yeah, it was tight. What are you looking up?
Halo 3 population map.
Oh.
I'm going to tweet this out.
Classic.
Remember that when it was all lit up?
Yeah.
That shit was good.
Love that UI. That whole menu. The whole experience.
This is what they took from you. Tweet. Which comes from fascists online. They say that, but it's like we say that as a joke.
As a silly goof.
As a silly joke. You know? Dude, should we talk Spider-Verse?
Yeah, I'm down. Please tell me what you thought.
So
you told me a little bit.
I told you a little bit, but yeah. Let's get into it. Yeah, we're talking about fresh new movies here, guys. Spider-Verse. A movie that's been out since what, May? I don't even know.
I think it came out. I think it was June.
Something
but it
like
might
that.
have been May.
God, this year just fucking flew by. It's about to be October in a couple weeks. No, it's September.
September.
I always forget about September. What an ass month.
Yeah. Bottom 3 month.
Yeah, so I really wanted to see I saw Spider-Verse about a month ago, maybe less. I really wanted to see Spider-Verse in theaters because I didn't see the first one. And the animation is just so good that like it's like, I gotta see this on the big screen. I gotta see what this is like. I don't want to just stream this movie because I'll get bored. I'll be on my phone. I won't finish it. You know, it won't be good enough for me to like pay attention to the whole thing. Not in the theater. And so I went and this is just a side note, but check that your movie doesn't have closed captions just the whole time on the ticket before you buy one. Because this one had giant yellow closed captions the entire time.
What the fuck?
Even when a music, like a song dropped, it'd be like, now playing by Post Malone and blah, 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 with like the music, or like the music notes. It was like, that's what's playing. And it's like, wow, this is ass. And it took me like a good 45 minutes to stop being pissed about that and get over it.
That's hilarious.
The animation's incredible. World-class animation. I mean, from the rip, it's beautiful, but that first fight with like the Da Vinci-esque vulture from the Da Vinci verse. Insane. And then 2099 pops up and fights him, and the whole, and also just from a storytelling, this is what I like about this movie versus a Marvel movie is the special effects and the visual gimmicks are there to tell a story, like to deepen the emotional sort of narrative weight of what's going on. Like when Gwen Stacy and her father.
Yeah, in their apartment. Anytime they're in there, it's like a water painting, sort of.
Yeah. Or like when after that Da Vinci vulture battle, he tries to arrest her after she shows who she is. And it's like the way they paint him as this like brutal agent of the state. He's a cop more than her father. He's almost a monster at that point. But that was so well done. Thought so much of it was well done. The thing that bothered me was twofold. One, it's like, at risk of sounding like a boomer, these movies need to have subtler jokes. For the love of God. Can you just have subtler humor? Can you just, for the love of God, stop doing fucking like preachy Tumblr leftist stand-up, you know, in a fucking movie? Like, can we stop with this fourth wall breaking? This is the problem I had with Barbie. It's way too preachy. It's way too over the top. You can make your point and do it subtly. A million movies have. A million movies have. Like, the part that made me cringe was when Peter Parker was like, you know, as a father of a daughter, as a husband of a wife. And they're like, all the women are like, stop it. You're being a dumb man. It's just like, just this constant, like, instructive, didactic writing of like, who is this for? I don't know. It's just, there's something to like, yo, I get it. If it's funny, say it. Even if it's obvious, explicit, unsubtle, I get it. But if it's just like, if it's not funny, if it's just like some cringy little like point you're making, if you're just making a point and it's not funny or interesting, I fucking cringe. Like, I cringe.
There's a great example of this in what is it? In Infinity War, I think. They're trying to get the stone out of Vision's head so they can destroy it, and Thanos can't get all 6 gems. So Shuri, you know, Black Panther's sister, and Bruce Banner are like there looking over him on the table, and he's saying how he couldn't figure out how to get it out, and she's like, "Did you try to cross through to this to this?" And he's like, "No, I guess we didn't." And she's like, "I'm sure you did your best." And it's just like that. It served no function in the plot. It served no. It was literally just to clown on Bruce Banner, you know, and to make Shuri look smarter, which is fine if she is or whatever. You know, Bruce Banner is like a genius in the comics. I'm not sure how smart Shuri has been portrayed. But he's not, you know, a complete all around Reed Richards, knows everything. He's like a gamma expert, etc. So he's not gonna, you know, he wasn't a time travel expert, for example. But it's things like that where their inclusion changes nothing and is only there
as a representative form. It's all representation in certain ways. It's like, you know what the greatest representation is for any group? Writing good characters that are of that identity. You know what I mean? Write a good character. Justify that. You know? Shuri is a boring fucking character. Bruce Banner is a boring fucking character. I mean, the Marvel movies suffer to have good characters anymore. They really do. And even the characters rough. Even though the characters maybe were fleshed out in previous films, they carry them on to future ones, and they're more hollow than they used to be because there's different writers. It's like, dude, this is what I'm saying is like, you don't understand how much of a strong point a good movie just will make. You actually don't have to spell things out for your audience. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had friends that were saying Tar, or like Oppenheimer, even like some of these movies, white people biopics. I have friends who are like, yeah, I'm concerned the audience is gonna walk away like sympathizing and rooting for the main character. And it's like, who the fuck watches Oppenheimer and is like, oh, I'm rooting for him? Or who the fuck watches Tar and is like, she's good. She's a good person. It's like, no, it's like Bleak, and you're surprised either haven't killed himself. You know, it's like,
I pity him. I pity that he created like
pity. It's bleak. It's bleak because it's like, yeah, it's really annoying when it's just like, yo, when a movie actually has some restraint, you know, and like, for example, the Shuri Bruce Banner thing, you don't need that line.
Right.
You don't need that line. Just show her, just give her more to do. Let us know more about her. Develop her, you know?
And I should clarify, like, because it's very easy for people to recontextualize this, that I'm mad that a black woman,
of course, showed
up a white guy. It doesn't matter. It could be any two characters.
That's not what the issue is.
Could be any two characters that were in that interaction. It didn't serve any purpose. It served to make one character look stupid and the other one clowning on them. I live
for, I am excited by, I'm passionate. I'm passionate about seeing, you know, white supremacy and patriarchy dismantled in our media. That's phenomenal. We want that. But if you do it like you're writing a fucking Dilbert cartoon or something, that's how good you're writing it. Like, then I don't know what to tell you. Hey, here's a scene where a man is mansplaining to a woman. I dare you to do that with any subtlety. Can anyone do it? Where it's not like, this man is telling me what to do. You know, it's like, It's so obvious. And the thing that bothers me is that is it. It's so obvious.
It's spoon-feeding applesauce to the audience. Like,
yeah.
You like this?
This is what mansplaining looks like. It's like, yo, shut the fuck up. Like, you're actually, and you know what the funny thing is like, these movies are made by rapists and billionaires. Like, these movies are made by Disney, bro. The people that said, we will fucking keep going until the people on strike can't even afford to pay their mortgages. That's the same company that said that. And they're the ones writing this shit and approving this shit. You know, Barbie, Mattel, a giant corporation is the one approving this anti-patriarchal writing. And it's like, it's co-optation again. It's like they're co-opting anti-patriarchal sentiment and diverting it into this de-radicalized liberal mindset where as long as anti-patriarchy is dismantled when the women are the boss, it's like, so we keep capitalism and the status quo is fine. Right. We just have to make women think they're the boss more now, even though we're all slaves, basically. That's the thing I didn't like. Also, the thing I didn't like about Spider-Verse was the last 10 pages of the script don't exist. There's no ending. There's no ending.
Yep. And now the sequel's delayed for years.
Yeah, and the sequel probably won't come out till 2025, if not later.
At the earliest.
At the earliest. It's an animated film. Yeah. If the SAG strike ended this time next year, it wouldn't come out till 2026. I mean, it's like they have so much animating to do and so much VO. It's like, bro, you're fucked. You're not doing this.
And apparently they were all overworked too, and it was terrible conditions and all that stuff. There's actually a story that came out about how, so I haven't seen or I don't know much about the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, but Seth Rogen produced it. It's through his film company, and whether he was doing this to look good or genuinely because he cared, he talked, like he got all the animators together and he basically asked them like what they're comfortable, you know, what they would like to do as far as their working conditions. Some of them only wanted to work 3 days a week. Some wanted to work from home, but they provided all, you know, whatever they asked and gave them the best conditions possible. And the animation looks good on it. It's a Spider-Verse style, you know, very stylized.
Oh, it looks great.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what's the other thing about this world is just like, I know too much about celebrities in this world. It's like, dude, apparently Jackie Chan like disowned his trans daughter or something like that.
Yes, I saw a comment about that. That was the first I heard about it.
Which sucks ass, because it's like, I love Jackie Chan. Now I have to know that. And if I'm watching the TMNT movie, I got to think about Splinter's a piece of shit. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, there's no excuse. People should be, I mean, it's frustrating, right? Because it's like, on the one level, it's like, yeah, people should be paid. People should have good, you know, they should be paid a living wage and have the right benefits, and they should be able to live comfortable, abundant, fruitful lives for the work they do. But on top of that, it's also like this social relation of money in exchange for work is what's keeping us all down. Like, this was a game invented by people that benefit from hoarding the money. That's why it's money. That's why we have money, because like, if we didn't have that, we'd have to actually ask deeper questions about what the fuck we're doing. Like, that's the thing that worries me about all these strikes is like, okay, yes, that's fucking good, the fact that we're going on strike, but it's like, grand scheme, we're still fucked. The climate's insane, whatever. It's like getting paid more for animating, you know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is not going to keep us from playing this horrible game of capitalism. Like, organized labor and labor struggle is awesome, but it's only going to get us so far. And that's the thing that worries me is like, are we just going to get placated with a higher salary and that's it? We're not going to take any of this momentum further.
Right.
But I also very deeply and passionately want these strikes to yield really good results because I want to be an actor. I want to be in SAG someday, and I want to be paid a living wage and know that I have insurance and benefits and that, if I don't get work, I'm not going to be homeless and my family won't starve. Like that shit. I definitely agree with it. I think I'm going into acting at the right time because it's like maybe this sets a really nice new horizon for us. I don't know. That's very optimistic, but the screenplay though of Spider-Verse, you can't have a to be continued at the end of a movie where the movie hasn't even continued. Right. The movie has to conclude for you to do a to be continued. There can be loose ends, but the main plot of the film, the main narrative arc of the film, will Peter tell his mom that he's Spider-Man? Or I'm sorry, will Miles tell his mom that he's Spider-Man? Will 2099, will he be stopped? Whatever. Will him and Gwen, whatever, or like, are they gonna fight back against the hordes of spider guys that are basically forcing murders to happen for canon events? It's like, is any of that gonna be resolved? And it's literally none of it is resolved. It's not even gestured towards being resolved. You get the idea that, okay, Miles told his mom in a separate universe that he's Spider-Man. She doesn't even believe him or care. But that doesn't mean he's telling his parents. I mean, that was a cool moment where it's like, oh, I'm in the wrong universe. But like, that doesn't mean his parents in his universe are going to stand. Miguel O'Hara, or whatever the fuck, O'Hara, still out and about trying to find and murder him. It's just like, literally nothing got tied up. The movie's 2.5 hours. It's 2.5 hours. You couldn't close out one loop? You couldn't tie one thing up? He should have told his real parents that he was. I mean, that's what you do. Also, I can't stand superhero movies anymore. That Blue Beetle shit looks like a pile of shit. Though it does look like they avoid the, like, I can't tell my family because it seems like his whole family discovers the Blue Beetle thing at the same time, which is fun. Yep. But like, I can't understand whoa, my powers. Like, I can't do that anymore. I cannot do that anymore. I can't watch another origin story.
The thing that threw me off was in the trailer, like the end stinger is the main character. And then I think George
Batman is a fascist.
Yeah, Batman's a fascist. I'm like, that's okay.
It's like that part I was like, hell yeah. But it's also just like, this is a DC movie.
Right.
So you're calling your flagship character a fascist.
Yeah, it's just insanely stupid.
And it's like, you're kind of right because he's a billionaire that fights crime, takes it upon himself to fight crime, sort of, infrastructural change in his community. But
I mean, they do the same thing in The Flash where he's holding on to Wonder Woman's lasso because she saved them. And he's like, even though that's not how her lasso works, it doesn't make you just spill out like, deep truths you have.
Just to ask you questions.
It makes you answer a question that she asks you or whoever is holding it asks you. But he's like, oh, if I really wanted to end poverty, I could use my money instead of fighting crime, blah, 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 blah. And they're just making this commentary on Batman and like, dismantling or what do you call it? Dissecting or what? That's not the word. Deconstructing. That's the word. Deconstructing Batman, how it's, ridiculous or whatever. And I'm like, okay, you can analyze him that way, and I guess so, but at the same time, if you're taking all of Batman's lore into account, I mean, he's sacrificed more than any human could ever hope to sacrifice to save entire planets. To right. I mean, he's fighting gods. He's he's a god himself, basically, if you read far enough. Right. So it's just fucking dumb. To be like, oh yeah, he's to think about to consider that or to basically
it's pandering.
Go on the premise that the DC universe and the economics of America in the DC universe is the same as like what we're currently living in, or it could be completely different, you know?
It's like, here's a trip for you. The idea of a supermensch, a superhuman, who's the only person that can save us, that's fascist. So you're pushing a fascist concept in a way. You are pushing this idea that we're helpless and we need a smart leader to help us, to save us. We have to vote for fucking Obama or Biden to save us. We have to vote for Trump to save us because there's only one guy.
And these comics are saying, well, what if, you know, that person existed and he was altruistic and like, you know, Superman he's the epitome of good. He, you know, he could wipe us all out, but he doesn't because he's a good person. Like we should all try to be. But when you start deconstructing it, it's a moot point. It's like, yeah, like, you know, Frank Miller already did that.
Yeah, it's like the concept of a hero at that point is what you're deconstructing.
Right.
Like, why do we have heroes? Why do we have stories about heroes and things like that? It's like, yeah. And also, yes, Watchmen did all of this.
Yeah,
Watchmen did all of this. Alan Moore basically said, what if the United States had Superman on their side? It'd be horrific for the world.
Right.
And that's what DC doesn't actually. So DC trying to actually like dig into that. But it's like at the end of the day, these little lines and quip, this is just pandering.
Yeah.
This is just pandering.
Lazy pandering.
I
also, in the Spider-Man movie, I am just not a fan of the premise of, one, I don't like multiverse. There's a million Spider-Men because it just makes it watered down, and Peter Parker is no longer that cool. He's one of thousands or hundreds of thousands.
But dude, isn't it so funny that he has a kid and he's wearing a robe the whole time?
Yeah, dude. He's a
dad.
He's a normal guy.
He's just a dad, voiced by the guy from New Girl.
Is he? Nick?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't like the concept that that there are all these Spider-Men, and two, that all of them would work together to make sure that Miles' dad dies. Like Spider-Man would never do that.
Dies. To make sure that everyone's dad dies.
Right. Well, anyone that's supposed to die, you got to make sure that they die. I'm like,
and they're like, we all had the canon event. You got to have it too. And it's like,
but at the same time, he was never supposed to be Spider-Man. So I maybe need to see it again, but it felt like there was a contradiction there where they're like, you got bit by a spider from a different universe. It came into your universe in the multiverse and bit you, so you're an accident, but you do need to make sure that your dad dies to go along with canon events. I don't know, it's convoluted, and I just don't like the portrayal of an army of Spider-Men, you know, or even just one Spider-Man, like, you know, basically being determined to make sure someone's father dies instead of finding a way to stop that, which at the end of the day, this is all stuff that the writers are fabricating and coming up with.
Right.
So the writers are putting them into that position where, I guess they have no choice. They do have to make everyone's dad die rather than writing a way to overcome that, make sure no one dies. Because there's no rule saying that has to be that way. That's a rule that the writers made up for the movie. And it puts Spider-Man in a bad light, and it's really bleak, and the
multiverse shit is just like being dragged to, like, it's just they're dragging the shit out of it. It needs to end. Fucking Trish is watching Big Brother. Big Brother's theme for this year is multiverse. Like, what? Multiple seasons of Big Brother are like themes of this current season.
Huh.
Like, it's wild. It's wild.
And that's kind of cool. Like,
it's kind of cool. It's neat, but it's also just like, damn, multiverse is popular as hell right now.
I mean, it popped off it all started in the late 2000s, early 2010s, because Marvel, I mean, DC had done multiverse all the way back to the 80s. They had Crisis on Infinite Earths, and they brought all these different, because everything was very disconnected. After that, all the heroes, all the main, the big Justice League heroes, they were all like concentrated into one continuity. And then there wasn't a ton of that throughout like the 90s, but then come the 2000s, there's like the Ultimate Marvel Universe, and then Miles Morales came up in that. and he got super popular. And they're like, how do we tie in Miles to the main 616 continuity that's gone since the 60s? And then Jonathan Hickman wrote this, epic Avengers run where all these Earths were colliding with each other. And it ended with the end of the multiverse, and it's just one Earth now. And Miles ended up on the regular Earth, and that's how he's went from being totally separate from main Marvel continuity to being like a part of it now. But then they've gone back on it, and they're like, actually, now there is a multiverse again, because that's, they're like, we want to have all these different versions of every character and every skin color and every gender and every, so everyone can be
Lego,
anything.
Snoopy is Spider-Man, fucking
right.
The Incredible Hulk, Spider-Man. They want every Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. And I get it that, like, so for example, like Spider-Man, Batman, The Flash, a few of these massive heroes that are like a brand unto their own, like, it makes sense that they would want to have a black version or a Latino version. Like, I get it, but because a lot of these characters were created in the 60s and 70s, a lot of it, pretty much all by white guys, that's that's like the one cool, how like there's always the comment that like white people never created anything cool. Like we love like hip hop, that, or we love all the huge American sports that are dominated by black men. But they did do one thing, and they created like the biggest, most successful entertainment franchise of all time. But unfortunately, it meant like 95% of the characters are white guys. And I get that, it doesn't reflect the country we live in. But there are a lot of good black characters, and they have refused to turn them into, like they could have easily made Luke Cage a huge player in this entire first 3 phases.
Right.
He's awesome. He's like one of the coolest characters. He doesn't even use a costume. He just wears a yellow t-shirt and jeans, and he's indestructible skin, and he's badass. And they're like, wow. And they made the Netflix show. It was okay. It wasn't anything close to Daredevil. The guy they picked was a good look for him though. And then they did do Black Panther. The first one I thought was all right. The second one I didn't like at all.
Never even saw the second one.
Yeah. Falcon, they could easily build Falcon up into a insane badass, but they're like, he actually needs to be Captain America for people to care about him. It's like, well, no, you just don't lack the ability to make Falcon cool, which is sad because seems pretty easy. All the shit he does when all his action scenes. All of
this is accomplished through just competent storytelling and good writing. All of this, it's like you can't CGI your way past a bad story. You can't. Bro, if the Venture Bros can make you care about 2 shrill boys and like all these weird, wacky characters like the Monarch and shit, and actually care about them, then they could make any of the Marvel characters. They can make it so that you care about them. That's the narrative strength that they had with Whedon that they have since lost. Whedon made you care about Coulson, bro. Agent Coulson. Like a nobody, just a made up dude, It made you fucking weep when that guy got hurt.
Yes.
Like,
Whedon
is just wild.
He sucks. Like, he's a bad dude, but he's very talented. Because
he's a good writer. Yeah. He's a good writer. And they.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You were about to get on it.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm reading. He wrote a few comics, and he wrote a run of X-Men back in the 2000s called Astonishing X-Men. I'm reading that right now. Very good.
Of course.
The comedy's on point.
I'm a big Firefly fan, man. I'm a big Firefly fan. I'm a big Avengers 1 fan. God, what else? He co-wrote Toy Story 2, really? I think. He co-wrote Toy Story 2, I think. I mean, he's a very good writer. Buffy? It's just Buffy was him.
Yeah.
What else is the big one?
I mean, he came in and botched Justice League, so maybe he's not so good anymore, but
yeah, he's kind of outdated. He was a great writer for kind of like 2000s, early 2010s culture, but now it's just a different world.
No, but He gave us quite a bit of good stuff, so I'm not going to throw shade at him. Though I've heard he sucks, though. I've heard he's a dick, and he treats the actors bad, and he's,
Yeah, fuck him. Yeah. Fuck him. But it's just, the point is that, like, these things have to be written well. They have to be good stories, and the characters have to be compelling and interesting, and they're just not. And it sucks when what would otherwise be good intentioned representative sort of like, moves of like, let's show this in this story, because we don't get to see this group or this person very often. It just comes across as cheap pandering because they're not really doing the groundwork. And that sucks, it just kind of sucks. But anyways, that was Spider-Verse. It did not have an ending to be continued. I just think that makes it an incomplete film. It's just not. I wouldn't show that to someone on its own. I would have to show them the next movie,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but the music is really cool. The animation's really cool.
The 2099 theme, very cool.
Yeah.
It's actually based on the theme song for the Spider-Man. I forget what it was called, but it was like a weird Spider-Man cartoon where it's like he gets thrown into like a future, like a deep future, and it's very like neo-noir type.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's based off that.
Sort of a Blade Runner type situation.
Yes, very trippy old cartoon, but it's cool.
Do
you remember that Spider-Man cartoon on MTV? Where it was like 3D animated.
Of course.
I used to watch that at my cousin's house in Virginia when we go
visit. They had previews for that on the Spider-Man 1 VHS, I remember.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 1 VHS, there was like, there's also a 6 Spider-Man TV show on MTV.
It was very mature too. Like literally the last episode, he kills, like he's his enemy, I forget who it is, like is making him see an illusion. And he kills the person that he's fighting, but then the illusion goes away, and it's his girlfriend. I don't think it's Mary Jane. It might have been like Betty Brant or something, But like he kills her though, and that's Becky. And he throws his suit into the river in a locked suitcase, and that's like the end of the series.
Wow. Okay.
Because it got canceled. There was only one season, like 12 episodes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Crazy.
Yo, I gotta take a shit, but this was a good epi.
Oh, great epi.
Yeah.
No.
I will see you guys again next week. We're gonna put out we're gonna record these. So Woke Boke, Max is gonna be back towards November, so we're gonna take a break, or not. We're not gonna take a break. He's gonna take a break. We might try to have like Buck on or some other go-tos as third mics.
Buck.
He has expressed interest in being on the show, so maybe we'll do that. But yeah, Max is not going to be back till around November. He's touring like a madman this fall.
Insane.
But yeah, we'll have regular episodes out, and it'll be good. So thanks for watching. Woke and Boke forever, motherfuckers. Peace the fuck out.
Peace.